Let me see if volume's on. Okay, so you should be able to hear me. How's everyone doing today? Good, I hope. I'm just doing one more test and then I'll start. Carol, is it a sunny day up there today? Good morning, Barbara. So you must be having a beautiful day. All right. Great. Yes, I guess it's very sunny. They've had a lot of rain up north, I guess everybody's had their own taste. I saw images yesterday of Dallas. Good morning, Annie. Dallas was up to the second level of an apartment filled with water. Well, that's kind of where I am, where I live, and I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of rain. So I don't know which part it was, or it was just a picture they showed on the news. I guess El Nino is coming. Birds are out chirping. That's a good sign. Well, we have geese and we have seagulls, and they're the loudest things I can ever say. Okay? And Annie is saying to everyone, good morning. Good morning, Jules Learning. So while we're sitting here for a moment for people to come in, I wanted to see how you were all feeling and doing. We've been doing some more in-depth things, messages, and on Monday. I just wanted to see how everyone's feeling with that shift. I think you want to say you too, Barbara Ward. Yeah. Does anyone have a thought about that? Or so while you're thinking about that, I'm going to call in Lord Gautama Buddha to bring his protective blue flame out around the fields of everyone's self-protection, and certainly out around the field of our chat, so that everyone can feel protected and know that this is that where the light lives. And we'll bring forth the violet flame blazing up through that. And may everyone become grounded. Begin to have your root chakra move, like that, and take you down into the ground. All right. So we're going to say our mantra. I am the soul. I am the light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. Take a breath down into the mother and father within your heart, and see if you can see that thread of gold that's the truth. Just sit and surrender. We'll ask for the Ascended Masters to come, and all the various angels. Someday we'll have an angel awareness. And all those of the universe who are walking, and you might be surprised how many of them that come from that understanding. Because we have probably a piece that they're missing. They're higher, more multidimensional, but they don't really understand how they got where they are. So here, they're understanding it just like we're understanding it. It was a profound moment, and I am still in this peaceful and magnificent energy. That's wonderful news, Annie. Good job. Yes. Yes. So today, long ago, when I started this channel, Lady Diana came to me and wanted to speak. And as you know, I did not choose to do that. So now that I have accepted Metatron to bring through, she appeared again. But if and when I'm ready for that, you must know that I will, through channeling, bring forth her word, not her accent. There are so many accented certain developments of people. And I had a whole lesson one day about having to have it be perfect. And if that's perfection for you, then it won't be found here. It'll be found as the highest and best good I can do. How's that? So I'm looking up under the word joy. I like bringing lessons from DK. He and I have worked so many years, maybe 20 now together, in the teaching scope since I first started my first school. And here's his comment about joy. Be joyful, for joy lets in the light. And where there is joy, there is little room for glamour and misunderstanding. Now, that is almost too profound for us, isn't it? Because I would say the majority of humankind that we meet, they're deciding on what they want and how they get it. Or, what's his other word? Creating a misunderstanding of words or not understanding someone who purely loves them and wanted to have it look a certain way. And that's because of the word control. And we're not really. Oh, here Barbara said she had a deeper connection with her I Am Presence. How beautiful is that? And that's why we're here, Barbara. And Annick and everyone whose feelings changes. So, control. I don't know if I've ever talked about it here on the, whatever this is, my opportunity to share with you. So my thoughts are coming to me. There is a good control and a bad control. The unfortunate piece is the good control comes when you moved into your mastery. And during the entire time that you're a child and you're learning how your parents control you, and that's not always the best example. God bless them all who they are. And then as you move through life, not always having the best examples of how to control. So let's say most people in our world, and Carol's saying she loves the word on joy. Good morning, Myra. It's about changing how people act, in my perception. Control. Changing how people act. Now, that's on the lower level. When it's a mastery of control, it's allowing yourself to be the truth and the light. So you can see there's two completely definitions. And I will do that. I just heard from DK. See if it's in his book. He's not sure. Yes, I'm a very dedicated person to DK. After all, he helped get me where I am. We all have to have a teacher. Maybe one more page. Nope. Next book, he says. But the energy of control can become a very ugly experience when everything has to be your way, or You get mad at your house for not looking how you want it to look, and certainly it's the house's fault. But this is how blinded we can become by the power of control. So power within us lies in our third chakra, that where you acknowledge that you're a child of God. So the mistaken understanding here that by being a child of God, you received his power, which that is nothing of the truth. As a child of God, you can become a vessel for that light, but it's never that you're going to become that power, that experience of whatever that is, until you've moved very high up the wrong, I guess you could say, because of this word control. Because you want to control not only people, but if I were to work with you, what we would find out is you're attempting to control yourself. And it's very interesting on a deep level to go in and find those dark places that you're controlling yourself that you wouldn't even think of. Very amazing. And you can begin to find out why so many days you're all twisted and not know how you feel or what should you do. And maybe it's because I'm not controlling something, and right away you'll have to have someone do something for you, or you'll have to do something for you. So one of my messages today is to instead have joy. Let me read that to you again. For joy lets in the light, and where there is joy, there is little room for glamour and misunderstanding. And I will explain to you part of the definition of glamour is your ego. And it's one of the most difficult pieces of ourselves for us to let go because we give it power also. So you can see how the control word and ego are kind of one and the same. And yet we don't want to talk about it. Most people don't want to talk about their ego. It gets them up, gets them doing, and false. It's not allowing you to discover who you really are. It's not letting you move with your steps in the steps of Jesus and discovering and loving and believing. There are so many things that the ego and the control create separation. So I would say that's the powerful message from here on this side where I sit with all these beings, is they would appreciate if there was an intention to lay these parts of yourself down, that you can understand they're not getting you anywhere. They're taking you more separate into the negative and away from God. So why is that so important? Someone may say to me, well, how do I say this? I caught myself watching some shorts on YouTube yesterday, and all of a sudden it was one about Jesus. And he was there holding a small child. And immediately that takes me into the Jesus I hold within me. And there's a oneness. So, when I was little, I would go up to the pew in the front, and I never knew, but every time I would shake and cry, I didn't know what that was about. Now I do, because I brought into this life a memory of Jesus, God, and Babaji, and Joshua. So now it's free. So it can be allowed to be who I am and how I perceive. And good morning, Myra. Yes, kudos to you, Myra. She says her mother was very controlling. And we do learn it a lot of times from our parents, but because that agreement was made before you even came in of the things your parents were going to teach you or create in you to offer you the power. to heal yourself. So it's never their fault. It's having an awareness that you knew you had that pattern. And how better to get it than to have someone teach you how, to then for you to realize it and then choose to love it and let it go. Letting go is one of the most powerful, easiest things to do if you understand the process. The more harder sometimes is to do the digging to find out what is going on in here, what's so uncomfortable, what makes you so sad. Because we tend to have learned, be quiet, keep that here. Don't be ashamed of what that is. And there is no shame in any of it. It's all so much love. So when you can begin to own who you are and really love it on a deep level, it's a freedom that my words would not begin to explain. And it's happening. It's happening to people all around the world. Why? Because we're chosen to come here to help this world. And I have never known of a bigger time. Maybe in the Civil War, and I can't remember that right now. But we're here to help bring God's light back and to bring forgiving back. And most important is loving thy neighbor back. It's one of the commandments, for heaven's sake. And you're just not seeing it in this world. Maybe here around my neighbors you would, but the theory is everyone we meet, no matter where we are, should be treated like your neighbor. That's how Jesus would have treated them. He didn't have judgment. He didn't go into, well, look at how you look. No, it was that was a soul. It was a soul that held that threefold flame and the spark of God's light. He was a child of God, whoever he or she is that you meet. And we are here to help them all find their way back to that light. And you may say to me, well, TheoSophia, why should we do that? Because it is a better experience of life we will all have as it occurs. Someone reminded me not so long ago that Maharishi attempted through his meditations to gather enough people to do a paradigm shift as they all held that light. Well, I teach the same meditations as Maharishi. My teacher was one of his students for 11 years, was a monk, and became himself very powerful. He's still in Japan. But we could all intend to have a lot of people meditate, but it won't do it until we get enough that are willing to have that discipline in their life, to have that willingness to find a new resolution inside themselves. Yes, it's very different. Myra says, yes, I understand it now because I had to learn love on my own as well. And self-love has been my biggest learning in this life. Bingo. So a great gratitude to your parents now would be very nice. They might not feel it, or if you said it, they wouldn't understand it. But karmically, you want the higher experience of the ascension and all the masters to know you got it. And now the next lesson will appear. A lot of times people don't understand it's one lesson and another lesson. It is how it is. It's purposeful. You are here to grow. Sometimes you might tell me, well, I have 3 lessons all at one time, but maybe they're all interconnected. And there's a part that's just going to explode and become more light of you as you do it. So, healing necessity. It's not a desire. You can do it if you want. If you have a desire to really know what's existent inside of you and to find if God is or not, and all his disciples and all these things, you need to heal. And there's various ways to do healing. But for myself and for those who work with me, How easy do you want it to be? How easy do you want it to be? All right. So let me see if there's anything else here about. Oh, here's his offering. Aim to demonstrate happiness. Be joyous in your work and in your service. Be not so intense, but go happily along the lighted way. Such is my prayer for you. I'm going to repeat that. Aim at demonstrating happiness. Be joyous in your work and service. Be not so intense, but go happily along the lighted way. Such is my prayer for you. And I'll tell you why that's so powerful, because the emotional field is one you have to take the power away from. Because a lot of individuals respond emotionally and end up with something they think they want, and in the end they don't want. So the emotions need to heal, and when that happens, a level of a different chakra happens where your creativity becomes alive. And that's a power center then also. So you need to think about how you are with your emotions and what they mean to you. Because responding says you haven't healed and understand that emotions aren't valid. You don't need them to express yourself. You don't want to have to be crying and throwing a fit or getting angry. Angry is a big one in our world. And it's being fed for people to have everyone become angry. Why? We are alive. We live in a world where, heavens be, my parents went and bought this 200 acres thing with a house that was falling down. But they raised 3 of us and we all lived very happily. We had whatever we needed. Now, there's no reason that can't still happen in this world. I'm not a well-off person, but I have what I need, and I know I always will as I do God's work. And I would think that that would be the best anyone can ask for, is to know you're going to have food to eat, something over your roof over you, that you have a place to sleep. And yeah, why not? So let's see here. Barbara Ward, letting go of words and expressions that self-condemn. Even saying stuff like, how could I be so stupid to do so and so? Because thoughts, energy follows thoughts. So it's becoming more of an adult and being aware of what you're thinking, even idle thinking. And the first quick response you have to say, cancel, 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 and reiterate what you mean, because thoughts are going to get you in trouble. And so when down the road, all of a sudden, here comes something you can remember saying, you got to get rid of it. And you got to choose to think about joyous, happy things, that which will bring fulfillment into you. If you have to just talk about yourself, know that you are love. I am love. I'm the love I'm looking for. Just keep putting that out and it'll keep getting closer and closer to you. It's interesting vibrationally how you must come to become the vibration before it can come the form. Now you might say to me that, well, that makes really no sense. But doesn't it? Doesn't it? That's how we feel auras. And when I touch someone, and even if we're looking for whatever's on the session, it always comes to me and feels that where it needs something. Thoughts are things and it's vibration. And vibration is like will come to life. So what do you want to come to you? So have beautiful, loving, peaceful, calming thoughts. And that will come to you. It'll become a part of your world. So, does anyone have any questions about all this that we're discussing today? Nothing. Barbara Ward, I agree with you. That's what I was saying. We have to be awake and aware of what we're choosing, whether it's to think or to say, because so many reactions are automatic and they're not good for you. Meaning they're going to attract something to you that, well, I've been doing all this. Why is that coming? It's finding some way that some point in time, because your mind becomes trained to be positive. If you have a really good book with powerful things in it, put it under your pillow. It's going to start working with you at night. And I know you're all starting to go, yeah, well, here she goes. Well, I know it's true because I did it with the book of the Keys of Enoch. Every night I put it under my pillow. And I can tell you everything and that I don't even aware that I know. I know. So if you want to make a drastic change, put something that you feel has a lot of goodness in it, love and how to be, and place it under your pillow and see how well you sleep. Now, don't go into fretting about it or being in control of it. Just trust that something will change, and it will. And I do understand it's difficult to live in this world consciously at the moment. There's rage and anger and things I don't even want to speak because I don't want them in my field. Okay, just a minute, Cadell. So I don't really dawdle much about it. What I do is I go back and correct and know that I am the love, and everywhere I am, there is love, and there's kindness and happiness. I know this is true. I can even think back to Atlantis when I stood out on the balcony and watched the sailboats come in with the fish and all they went out to be caught. I can remember how peaceful and in harmony that was. So that's what we need to remember, that there is a harmony deep within ourselves, in our alignment with God, that we can live and breathe and depend on once you eliminate the other chatter. So Cavell says we have to be more mindful of what we say and do. We do. It's not a one-day thing, or not just the days you come hear me or come hear someone else. This is about having it be a life-changing thing. That every time your mind and you're aware that you're thinking, what are you thinking about? Because if you're not allowing the angels to whisper to you and tell you where you need to go next, or maybe where you need to walk to and take whatever your gift is to. You can't let that in if you're so busied with this physical world. They don't go together. Learning to trust is what Jules says. And that trust word goes a lot of places. And let me see if there's a thing on trust here. He doesn't always talk about everything. But I turned to this book over the years so many times. And that's why I'm starting to choose to do it again, because he's new to you. And DK is a great teacher. Well, it doesn't have trust, but it has truth. So how about we go with that? Do you realize that truth has to be wrought out in the texture of daily living before a new truth can be safely imparted? Let me say that again. Do you realize that truth has to be wrought, WROUGHT, out in the texture of daily living before new truth can be safely imparted. They don't go together. And I have known people that want to live one life and then live out another one, and it does not work. Does not work. I've had more than one client that would appear in one way when they saw me and then was hiding another whole self of them at another time that eventually came out. So, very interesting and very true. And let's all pray for each other that that doesn't happen for any of you. And I can see that he just made a rhyme. So, yeah, trust who you are. And perhaps first you need to get to know who you are. Who are you? What do you remember? And if you tell me it's nothing, well, that's fine. It's not time yet. But as you continue to sit and meditate, you're going to find your way back to the truth of who you are. Because most of us have already evolved before, and we've come back and given up 97% of who we are, so we can begin to reteach those who haven't been there before how to get there. So you could still be one of those, believe me. And what an exciting journey it is. Yes, mindful of goodness, kindness, gentleness. You know, there's a difference between the second chakra and emotion and the feelings. That's what they're called, feelings in the heart chakra. Kindness, gentleness. I said a third one, I don't remember that one. But in the second chakra, it's emotions. It's not feelings. It's a personal emotion where feelings have become more divine. Difference. So you want that to come from in your heart and go in to that heart, to a deep place where mother and father are, and you want to feel that. How does that feel to have that? And they go to everyone. That beautiful spring of light and love deep within you. And that's why I always say there's a thread of truth that if you ever see it, then you'll know you have shifted. Okay? It's all powerful. No matter what word we take here, we're going to find something powerful. And so I found humanity. So let's see what his little sentence is on that. The world is one world, and its sufferings are one. Humanity is in truth a unity, but many are still unaware of this, and the whole trend of the preset teaching is directed to the awakening of humanity to this. While there is yet time to avert still more serious conditions, the sins of humanity are also one. Its goal is one, and it is as one great human family that we must emerge into the future. So, I'm choosing to emphasize this thought. It is as one humanity, chastened, disciplined, but illumined and fused, that we must emerge into the future. Those who do not grasp this moment, important moment, whether they are called the belligerents or the neutrals, will suffer deeply as a result of their non-participation in the fate of the whole. Wow, that was a powerful one, right? So we are all one, and we have to see everyone as one. Even if those who aren't can't see themselves, we can choose to hold it. Doesn't mean we have to become their best friend. It's just when you come in touch with that person, you still want to love them like they're your neighbor. And we are all a part of this process of humanity. We are one world. And think of how divided it has become from anger and people. Let me see what Barbara has to say. That's why we say things like, I could feel it in the depth of my heart. As you say, Mother TheoSophia, the heart is where the feelings reside. Yes. And you'll get to where you hear something or you'll see something and your heart will make a movement for you. So you get to where you know what's a yes and what's a no. You don't have a doubt. It's all good. Everything's going to be great. So the objective of the new social order, of the new politics, and the new religion is to bring about the unfoldment of human consciousness, to institute and bring to men's attention the higher values, and to end the reign of materialism. It is, after all, the goal which all true knowers and spiritually minded men down the ages have set themselves to bring in the rule of the kingdom of God, the control of the soul, whose nature is to love and to carry forward the work which Christ inaugurated, the era of peace on earth, goodwill towards men. That's a way to end. So, powerful Wednesday today. Does anybody have a question before I go? Powerful day, and I'm touched to be able to share it with all of you. And you can see why I can't leave DK out of it. He is a part of it. And as he was my teacher, he is now becoming your teacher. Oh, yes. As we move one step in front of the other. And as you do that, you'll get to where you know there will not be a step that will let you drop. You will know that the steps are always solid and firm. And when you don't feel that way, then you need to look back and what did you miss? Where are not you not loving yourself? Where are you not being a good neighbor? Where are you being in control? So keep walking forward. Keep moving through the consciousness of who you are. It is where you will find all the answers, all the truth, and feel at peace. So, one last time, any thoughts coming before I leave? Thank you for such an opportunity to have such a beautiful day. Wow. Barbara said when she woke up this morning, it was 555 on the 5th month. That's a powerful number. All numbers of threes or twos are also, but threes are very powerful. You're welcome, Cavell. It's always been my goal to eventually be inspiring. Thank you. All right. Blessings. I won't see you till Monday, but I want you to all have a mindful weekend. One where you're experiencing it within yourself and what's occurring and what you're choosing. So, blessings to all for a safe and happy weekend. Bye-bye. Love to you. Many blessings.